Hi guys, I hope you are doing well. Today is 10th Monday, 2026 of August. Today is 10th of August 2026. I'm starting off on the weekly time frame simply because on the monthly time frame we are still consolidating, but on the weekly time frame that's where I can see the consolidation much more clearly. So I've been having this sort of a wedge, well no, triangle, symmetrical triangle situation here. I've been bullish towards the upside because for me I have only gotten confirmations from bullish engulfing candles here. You can see here indecision candle followed by a bullish engulfing candle here at the 1.319. Again, the other week we closed bullish again with this particular candle here just above the 1.334. Last week we had some little volume here from the candle that printed. So because I'm still biased towards the upside and I am hoping for some type of breakout, if at all I measure, let's say for example, let's say I measure now the height. Is it the height of this triangle to the base? I've forgotten this one, but it's just basic chart pattern calculations. If I measure that to the bottom, if at all we do break out to the bullish side, it will make a bit more sense because also on the monthly time frame I have been having a channel and there's still some levels over here that I would not be shocked if price wants to get to. Also because I am quite bearish on the dollar, which I will be explaining why. But yeah, if at all we do break out to the downside, it's still okay. It's just that in terms of how my reasoning is and what the chart has printed, personally I'm just not seeing like any candles towards the that are really leaning towards the bearish side, because you can see here the candles here, we had a very long wick here, this one formed so far, this one here we haven't still gotten any bearish confirmation, so I would rather just lean towards the bullish side. Also, sorry, my screen just went a bit blank, but anyway, yeah, I am hoping, because last week we closed with this little volume here, I'd not be shocked if price wants to do a little wick fill, maybe back down to here, and then now waiting for those breakouts. But I know this might be quite sensitive because you do have CPI also coming in, so it's going to be a week where I have to be a little bit careful. Yeah, so the daily time frame here, on the daily time frame, you can see we're currently just at the 1.35. Again, a very sensitive area because we do have a trend line here from that triangle. We are also at a key level 1.35. We also had a bearish engulfing candle here last week, but it didn't have enough force. So that is why for me, as when I saw this print like on Monday and on Tuesday, I was like, I should probably continue maybe to look for those buys. And I did take an L last week, by the way. I will be sharing that shortly. But yeah, you can see still did not have any bearish pressure, but I still, if this level 1.35 continues holding, I would not be shocked if I get maybe some short-term sells. I'm a day trader, so I will be selling even if I'm looking for buys. I'd not be shocked if this level continues rejecting and I get like proper confirmation. I'm still interested in looking for short-term sells, maybe back down to this level here, 1.34 or even lower. I don't know if it would want to make like a very deep pullback back down to here. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But anyway, long story short, I'm observing what's happening here at the 1.345, going over to the 4-hour time frame. So on the 4-hour time frame, I've been having this sort of trend line because we are still making high highs. You can see here we're at a previous swing point here, previous swing point, we were making high highs. Now last week, guys, the L that I took, so last week my trend line was looking something like this. Before it widened, so I noticed that we were still refusing to make lower lows, especially from that daily bearish candle that I was talking about. So for me, I believe, wait, where are my candles? Yes, I believe one of my key levels was here before price formed. So my trend line was actually looking something like this. Now, when I saw these two pin bars, I hope you can see them. There was one pin bar here and another pin bar here. I was like, okay, this might be a sign, because maybe the fact that price is refusing, to sell, especially when we had this pin bar here and this one here, I was like, maybe this 1.345, this was the level that I had, 1.345 is refusing. Maybe I could just take a buy. So I ended up taking a buy here because, again, according to my setup, it did confirm it was at a fib level. So I ended up taking a sell just after, a buy just after this pin bar here. My stop loss was 30 pips, which is my usual 30 pips. I was more comfortable with taking a 30 pip stop loss here because it was just below this key level here. But you can see I got stopped out when the news came in. I was stopped out and then it pushed back up. So even if I did have a wide stop loss, let's say even a 40 pip stop loss, it wouldn't be the safest because, again, we had some heavy resistance here, which I was a bit scared. But like if my setup shows up, guys, I'm still going to be taking them because it will now start giving me like my edge, and also knowing that the setup that I took, maybe what can I learn from it, even if it followed my trading plan. I hope that made sense. So yeah, took that L over here on my FTMO, which is, it is what it is, but I was comfortable because this did follow my rules and I believe I was disciplined. So now the main reason I'm still going to widen my trend line is because on the daily time frame as well, you can see that we're still pushing upwards, and this here is like the previous swing point on the daily time frame. So yeah, now looking at what's happening again, 1.35 still holding. I would like to get those sales that I'm talking about, just short-term sales. You can see we have some imbalance here. I don't know if I'd call it imbalance, but we still have a zone over here. The 1.34 could be, you know, it could be something before looking for those buys. And also we did sort of make a higher high. Like I know it's a slight difference, but you can see this particular swing point, it's still higher than this one. So even if I was to take my fibs, let's say for example, on the daily time frame, if I just take my fibs from here to now that recent higher high, you can see we have the 38.2 that's lining up quite nicely. Even the 50% for me is looking a bit better to maybe see now if we can, if at all this level rejects because there is pressure there, if it can push up. But again, we'll just have to see what happens. But long story short, I will be looking for short-term sells. Again, just the same bias as last week. The only time I feel comfortable, or let me just say right now, because I did end up taking a buy here, but for now, I'll just feel comfortable if at all we get a breakout, break and retest here, bullish engulfing candle, and then we see now if we can look at those levels. That is for buys. But because this level here is still looking like pressure, I would prefer to get some sells, but only after confirmation. And here, the 1 hour time frame is not looking very convincing. You can see the candle is forming. It's going to be a bit tricky. So for here, because it's a new swing point, I would prefer to wait on the 4 hour time frame. If I do get a bearish engulfing candle here on the 4 hour time frame, this could be nice. This could be something that I could definitely be looking at, maybe a 1:3 or even a 1:2, maybe back down to these levels here, and then we see what happens, because who knows, we could get a breakout and then and there's also CPI, so then it could also continue consolidating. So interesting week. We'll see what happens. Let's go to the DXY. So the DXY, I'm just going to be starting off on the daily time frame. The DXY has been interesting, guys, because again, we are in the Badlands. This level here, the 99.7 has been holding. I've been having this channel here on the DXY from the daily time frame, because again, from past data, we are still making higher highs and higher lows, but we can see here we do have a double bottom. Now a double top, sorry. In my experience, this here is a bit long, but anyway, if this at all is a valid double bottom, which I personally really like, especially from the weekly time frame, because we do have a bearish engulfing candle here, I am still going to be bearish towards the downside. And the main reason I've been bearish towards the downside is, maybe let me just look at the monthly time frame quickly in case you're new to this channel. The main reason I have been biased towards the downside with the DXY, at least even if it's temporarily, is because I'm just not getting any confirmations over here whatsoever that price wants to completely push up. I usually believe, guys, when candlesticks print and like there's not enough candle or volume in a candle, like this particular candle here, this indecision, this is the one that formed at the 96.8. This is not enough for me to conclude that, oh, this could be the candle that's pushing. And you guys can see this is a monthly time frame. So the monthly time frame is not giving signs. It's tricky. So for me personally, I would not be shocked if maybe price wants to come even all the way back down to here, and then we see what happens at that 96.8. And the main reason I'm looking at that point specifically is if I take my fibs from here to here, because yeah, we have been making higher highs. If at all we do make that pullback, this 78.6 fib could look nice. The 68.1.8 could also look quite nice, and then we see what happens. So yeah, that's also topped up with the fact that we have a double top. Usually with double tops, when they complete, they can be some really good moves. So yeah, once again, I'll not be shocked if price wants to do its thing, something like that, and then we go down. But now, because I want to focus on what's happening today, I can see here that on Friday, or when did this candle print? On Thursday, we had a bullish engulfing candle. But guys, this is why I'm yet to make my video on watch out for these candlesticks, because whenever you see a nice bullish candle close, but then there's a previous candle that has a long wick, like you can see, for example, here, we had a very long wick. This should be a red flag. The moment I saw this bullish candle print, I was like, oh, might trap a lot of people, because a lot of people might think that maybe we want to buy from here because it's looking nice. People are bullish, you know. But you can see here, price came once again to fill this particular wick, and then that's when it starts to, it's hovering now around this 199.7. So for me, I still would like to see some form of rejection from this level here. I do think because this has been a level that's been holding for quite some time, and also this level here is also a pretty key level. I'd like to see some sort of rejection. Doesn't have to be big. Maybe it can even come and maybe fill up this particular wick here, and then now we continue selling. That's personally like my preference, but again, with the DXY, it's mostly fueled by fundamentals. So sometimes those things that you want don't always happen. So yeah, looking at the 4-hour time frame. For time frame, again, we're still in these areas. I don't like these areas. Usually these areas that I have in zones, these are the type of areas that are very, very major. That's where you get a lot of consolidation, a lot of stop outs. So yeah, let's see maybe if we can break this trend line or something, if it can just get out of this zone at least this week, or even at least the next few days before the CPI. Coming back to here, because again, you can also see this particular pin bar with this wick, not a nice pin bar, very long wick. So if it does do like a wick fill back up to the 100.450, that would be quite nice. That is my speculation. But if it does want to continue selling, I'll not be shocked, and I'll continue to look for my buys on GBPUSD. Yeah, so just on standby again, standby here. I'm on standby here because we are at a major key level. This is where, there's a lot of patience that's needed. So that is also why I'm also on standby on the pound USD. So hope my analysis makes sense. Today, I'm mostly leaning towards the sell side, but only when I get confirmation. If I don't get confirmation, then I'll just be neutral. Maybe wait for the CPI or whatever's happening. Let's look at the Forex Factory calendar. Yeah, so Monday we are clear, Tuesday we're clear, but then on Wednesday we have the CPI news, Thursday we have PPI news. Guys, every time I'm looking at these red folders, they're looking like my enemies, because I'm just like, without a swing account, like even holding positions through the news is just becoming so tricky. And I'm just like, I don't know. I do really wonder, like the people who trade many currency pairs, like how are you guys feeling whenever you approach these red flags? Because I only trade one pair, but you can see this is already giving me so much anxiety, because like, what if I get a really nice setup, but then anyway, whatever. Anyway, stay tuned, because I might be getting a prop firm this month, but let's see how it goes. So yeah, CPI news here. On Thursday we have some GDP. These news are usually nice. These ones do end up pushing the pound towards that original direction that it was in. But then the PPI is usually pressure. Oh gosh, my battery is running low. So anyway, that is it for my analysis video. I do hope you have a nice day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.